I mean, we're talking about Wim Hof, right? We got to go. Okay, we are live, my friends. Hello, welcome to Waypoint Chats. Tina and Kristine, good morning. It's
Good
early.
morning.
Everyone has coffee. We're ready. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. So, y'all so graciously agreed to talk about your Wim Hof experience. So, I want to do just the 2-minute elevator version of what is Wim Hof and how did I convince my friends to try this? Because it can be intense. So, Wim Hof is the Fundamentals Workshop, has 3 pillars. It's the breath work, which is an intense holotropic type of breath work meant for transformation, meant to chemically change your body. It's the mindset pillar of our capacity as humans is so much greater than we can truly possibly imagine. And then, of course, the cold exposure, which is the cold plunge or the ice bath, or however you want to phrase that. So I could literally geek out on the science for days on this. And what I love about that is like what we've known for literally thousands of years, we can prove with science, right? But what I invited y'all here today is what was your real experience? What were your emotions, your feelings, your doubts, your what felt like triumphs or empowerments, especially for anyone and women that are interested in what is Wim Hof and how would it feel to me? So, my first question to y'all is before you came, I think I know why you said yes because you're two of my dearest friends. So, it was just a yes. I didn't have to do too much convincing. But what were like any thoughts or expectations that you had before we showed up for the workshop that day?
I didn't really I was nervous for
Okay.
sure, but I don't think I had expectations of anything. I was just like, oh gosh, what if I can't do this?
Okay. The breathing part or the cold part?
The cold part.
The cold part. Okay. Yeah.
You had convinced me to start doing cold showers, and I think my expectations were around like I appreciated what the cold showers were doing, and so I was curious as to what an actual cold plunge would be
Yeah.
like and do. The
Yeah.
breathing part is the part that made me a little bit nervous, just because I think you'd referenced like it's intense, and I had read some other things about it being, potentially releasing things or feelings or taking you
Yeah.
places that I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to go. And so that part made me just a little bit nervous.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's where we start, right? We started with the breathing. Um, and getting into the science, but really, we're changing blood chemistry with this type of breath. And then it gets you to an altered state potentially if you let it go there. So once we started the breathing, was there anything that surprised you as we were doing the full breathing journey? And we did activities to start as well, right? Like kind of like feeling into it and playing with how it would feel best in your body.
I mean, for me, the breath hold part, and even that you had us do the exercise at the very beginning of just basically like trying it by yourself first before having done anything, and then getting into it, and then afterwards you telling us like how long that was, and thinking,
Yeah.
oh, that was far easier to hold my breath for far longer than I ever thought I could. That was unexpected for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, the other part too was those nerves I had going in about, what I might experience. I was able to let go and experience some of those things, but I always felt in total control of that, which was kind of like this relief. I was trying not to be too meta about it at the same time,
Yeah.
like evaluating all the breathing while you're doing the breathing. But those were the things that I think that I really
Yeah.
responded to.
I agree. When you talked about how long we held our breath, I was like, oh my gosh, that seemed way easier than what I anticipated. And I also agree with Tina about the letting go and the control. And there's a certain amount of vulnerability that you
Right.
experience, which is
Mhm.
a little scary, especially
Yeah.
with other people. And you don't want to like have this emotional breakdown or, or
Right.
something in a room full of people, right? But I agree, you were in control at all times. So you could take it as little or as far as you wanted to.
And that's the amazing thing. They attune this a lot of times to taking mushrooms, right? You kind of have this same experience with that. But the difference is if you get scared or something happens, you're at the control of a drug with mushrooms, right? You have to wait it out. Where with a breathing exercise, you can go there, you can use it as transformation, but if it's too much, if it's too scary, if it's an experience you don't like, within a minute you can back off and it's done. You really are in control. So can you talk about it all, what the breathing felt like in your body while you were doing it? Were there any sensations that came up, or just like physically, because you are chemically changing the chemistry of your body when you're doing this, which is why it's magic and healing. And, again, we can go in the science, it does all the things, but what did you actually feel? Because everyone experiences it just a little bit differently physically.
My nose got cold.
Okay. No. That's a thing. That's actually a thing.
Like
Yeah.
my nose and my face right here got cold, and then my hands kept like gripping.
Right. Yeah.
I felt a little tingly, like kind of all over, but especially in like my hands, like that kind of like when your foot's falling asleep, that kind of like tingly feeling. And then by the final kind of round that we did, I remember telling y'all, like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I just felt sort of floaty, like
Yeah.
physically in my body just felt like I was, I don't know how else to say it, floaty.
Right. I mean, and such different experiences. And for me, when I do Wim Hof, it's one of two things. Either strip down the center of my face feels tingly, or my jaw feels tingly. Like it's one or the other, and it happens every time, which I just think is so interesting how our body reacts to the breathing. Okay, so we dove into mindset stuff a little bit, which sets us up to the cold plunge, which I think is the part that makes people the most nervous a lot of times, like they're the most curious about, but also can bring on some really huge transformation. So, I'm doing the mindset, we're talking it through, cold plunge is coming, right? Like we're very clear, we know the schedule, we know what we're doing. What was your inner dialogue at that point of the workshop?
I love we're being so polite, Kristine.
No, you go.
Talk, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
For me, about, I think halfway through the breathing, I hit a point where again, like you're saying, like, cold plunge is coming. There was some point in the breathing I was like, oh, let's do this. I am ready to go get in the cold plunge because I am strong and a warrior, and I'm going to like get in there and like, I'm going to show that cold plunge who's really cold. Like, I don't know. Like, I distinctly remember it being like a very clear feeling in the middle of the breathing part. So that by the time we got done with the breathing and we were like gearing up to go in there, I sort of was like excited about it to get in the tub.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, are you being super naive? Because it's going to be really cold.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not as ready for this as possible, but I don't know. I was just able to repel those thoughts because I was just such in a state of like feeling, I think, strong and feeling like that wasn't going to be a big deal. It was going to be helpful to me, and I was ready to go.
I was nervous. I knew that I wanted to do it. I knew that I was capable, maybe. I was hoping I was capable. But I was super nervous because I hate the cold. I hate being cold outside. Right. I think snow is beautiful, but it's kind of miserable because it's cold out there. So cold isn't a happy place for me.
Yeah. Well, and you both had done the cold showers, like you did kind of the challenge leading up, which helps the adaptability. But this was for both of you, your first like official cold plunge, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what we, kind of the frame that we do is the 2 minutes. Okay. And I don't tell you the time, but I'll tell you when you're close, right? That's how we kind of work that first one. So, what helps you stay in? Because it is cold. We were at 45 degrees, 44 degrees in that cold plunge. What, I mean, until, we hit the 2, and then Tina, you stayed an extra minute.
Yeah.
Like, what helps you stay in? What helps you like lock into that experience? Because the beautiful thing about cold plunges, you cannot be anywhere else, right? You have to lock in, you have to be present, you have to be in the room, or you're getting out. I mean, it's just not possible. So where did you go? How did you stay in?
I was breathing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. Your calming voice, like both of you being there made a huge difference,
Yeah.
especially for my first time. Having that support and knowing that you guys were like right
Yeah.
there.
Well,
and
and
then
that
your encouragement.
comes to a rule of nobody cold plunges alone. I'd love to say that here and now as a safety thing. Like that's a rule at my house. Nobody cold plunges alone. So yes, we were there. Like, okay. Okay. So and not Wim Hof breathing. We always say that too, because that's actually
Right.
very
No,
dangerous in the cold.
I was just
But just
rhythmic breathing.
rhythmical, slowing it
Mhm.
down,
Mhm.
locking in,
Mhm.
focused on your body.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Beautiful.
your put your hands on your thighs
Yeah.
was really helpful, because when I cold plunged like later in my mother-in-law's pool, I forgot about that until I remembered.
Yeah.
Like, because I wasn't struggling, but I was kind of struggling, and I was like, oh wait, she said put your hands on your thighs. And when I did that, it just, I don't know, like grounded me a little bit more to be able to push through.
That's exactly what it does for me too, is it's just like connection. I don't know. It makes the circuit work better. That's what I always feel like when I do that as well. And so Tina, you stayed longer. Like I'm like, okay, you've hit 2 minutes. You're like, oh, I'm not done. Like, do you remember how you were feeling or what that like going through your head at that point?
I mean, for one, you were playing music for me, and that
Yep.
was really helpful because I sort of trained my thoughts on like feeling the music. I don't know that I was necessarily like singing along in my head, but like the beat and feeling it was really helpful to me. And then, like I said, at some point during the breathing, I just felt super empowered and ready to go. And this felt like a really hard challenge to be in.
Yeah.
And then I felt like in control that I could conquer. And so I just felt super strong. And so when you were like, it's almost 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, easy. And then you're
Might
like,
work.
hey, we're beyond 2 minutes. And I think I
Yeah.
told you, like, you just tell me when I have to get out.
Yeah.
It just felt empowering is the best way for me to put it. I
Yeah.
was just strong and able to, and I felt like completely locked into the challenge, and that I was just going to stay there till you told me I had to get out.
Love it. Like it's so cool to watch people conquer this, whether it be the breathing, the cold plunge, and even if it doesn't happen then or it happens later. I mean, I think empowerment, is such a great word. I fought it, ended up going to Poland, get the certification. And now I do it twice a week. And I'm not getting ready for anything. I don't have to do it. And I think y'all have continued cold plunging afterwards. So how did your body feel after the cold exposure? Was there anything surprising in that after you got out? Because there's definitely after effects that happen.
I was like ready to go. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like I can do anything now. I did this. But then not, like if you drink a cup of coffee and you get that but then you get that nervous energy. It wasn't like that. It was like energy with a calm. It was really weird. It was just like I felt like I could do anything now, but like steady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say similar, the combined experience for sure. I think we talked about this afterwards too. Like, I hesitate to use the word calm because that makes it just sound like, oh, you did this like fun Zen breathing
Right.
kind of thing. But it was you could be calm because you were so rooted and grounded in
Yes.
like who you are and what you could do, that's why you could be calm.
Right.
And so I felt the same way. I mean, physically, the room was nice and warm versus like
Right.
cold plunge later and it was outside and I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of cold.
Yeah.
I feel like I warmed up a little faster than I thought I was going to. You know, I think about that with my cold shower too. Is like maybe that's like thermodynamics because like your body's trying to regulate to
Right.
the temperature outside. But yeah, I just felt like release.
Right. That's a great word too. So what did this teach you about yourself? I mean, from beginning to end. So we're back to, we did cold, breath work, mindset, cold exposure. Did you leave with any new insights about who you are?
I mean, I think some of it is like tapping into like I'm stronger than I thought I was. Like
Mhm.
I keep in my head trying to think of like I want to be this person. I want to be the girl who cold plunges. I want to be the girl who like does breath work and like works on my like inner self and works on regulating my nervous system. And after that it was like, no wait, I am that girl. Like I
Yeah.
already am. And so if I'm already that person, then I can also like move toward and be in the world who I want to be without like always having to be becoming it.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, life has taught us, right, that we can do hard things and that we're
Right.
resilient and those kind of things. I mean, we've talked in depth about this personally, but I realized I could do it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so empowering. Like I just sat in that water for 2 minutes and I can do
Yeah.
it and I feel great about it. I
Right.
don't feel like, "Oh my gosh, that was a horrible experience and I survived it." It was like, "This was hard and I killed it." Like, it was
Yeah.
so like, you just felt so strong after, and even now, Tina, you did the music, and so even now, if I cold plunge in the pool, I bring out a playlist and I set the
Yep.
timer and just really lock in, and it's every time I get out, I'm glad I did it. I don't
Right.
always wanna do it.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I have to say, like, I don't know that that ever changes, right? Like, I've been cold plunging a lot now. And that second before you get in, it's like life choices, man. What am I doing? And then you do it and you're like, this is why. So, how do you think that the Wim Hof method translates into stress in real life? And y'all know a lot of the science because you listen to me a lot, but so we could, you know, we're cleaning up our cells chemically, right? Like, all the immunity, all the things. But if it's just like an empowerment way, how does this translating into everyday life? Or could it?
For me, I've described it as a train track. When
Mm,
I talk to other people about it, um, you have this track that's in your brain of maybe anxious thoughts, self doubt, worry, that kind of thing. And the Wim Hof breathing and the cold plunge knock me off that track. And
mm,
it's immediate
yeah. It,
because with both of them, you have to be locked in.
yeah.
When you're doing the Wim Hof breathing, you can't be off thinking, what am I going to make for lunch today? Like you're locked in.
Right.
And that it's a discipline. It's a discipline of retraining my brain to say, "Hey, you've got this." And those thoughts will come. I mean, that's life. It would be strange if they didn't. But it just boop knocks them off the track.
Nice. I love that analogy.
Yeah, I really appreciate that because reset is the word in my head, which is I feel like what we've talked about and what you just said too, of like it just helps me know that I can reset. And even if I can't go jump in a cold plunge in that moment, that I can take 30 seconds and like calm myself down and
Yeah.
reset my thinking. Then I'm able to think more clearly through the rest of what I have to like work through.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, and I like we say it all the time at Waypoint, you can change your state chemically in your brain, your emotions, your thoughts in less than a minute by tapping into your autonomic nervous system through doing the breath work or jumping in a cold shower. I mean, there's so many tools that we have that we have way more control than we think when we're kind of in those spirals or just in everyday crazy stress. So, would you do it again?
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, yeah, like the full workshop
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do definitely think, because I've done these as individual sessions and as groups, there's definitely a collective energy that happens when you have people breathing together or doing the cold plunge together. There's something pretty special about that too, especially if it's someone's first time. I think that like there's just a lot of support that
Mhm.
happens, kind of that going into battle together. Everyone's in the same boat and an understanding. So, what would you both say to someone who's curious but they're scared? Because it's a lot. And it's kind of one of those you got to be to the position of I'm sick of my own stuff. I'm ready for to break through or to have some sort of transformation or I do feel like you kind of have to be on that brink. But then what would you say to someone who gets nervous or scared about that?
I mean, I obviously do it. Um, I I think what helped me, number 1 is with you specifically, Rhonda, I would encourage anyone to do that because you are, like, trustworthy and non-judgmental and so calm and so, like, meet you where you are and empowering. Like,
Mm,
I would send anybody to you to go do it with you specifically. If someone was, thinking about it and didn't have access to you or was just still on the fence about it in general, um, I mean, it is hard. It's not that it's not hard, but you're so much stronger than you think you are.
yes.
And doing this, like, helps you tap into that and remind you of that, that it's worth the hard part or the part that makes you nervous. And I go back to what we talked about before at the beginning, which was, like, you're also just in complete control. Like, that was kind of
Yeah.
my like, as much as you talked about, like, "Oh, you could be holotropic or you could do like, you could have these
Yeah.
huge breakthroughs," and I was kinda like, "You 2 are some of my closest friends," and I wasn't sure I wanted to, like, have a total emotional
Right.
breakdown in the room. Um, but to know that I had the safety net of, like, you can open your eyes and stop breathing at any time,
Mhm.
or you can just go back to your own normal breathing and just, like, do your own thing if you needed
Yeah.
to, like, knowing I had that control made it so much easier to think, like, I'm not gonna be in a place where I don't feel like I have choices to make, and then I might just go off the deep end by
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
That helped me to kinda, like, take the next step into.
Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, do it. Do it, do it, do it.
Yeah.
What's funny is, I mean, we've been with you through this journey, right?
Yeah.
Since you started, you've been talking about it, and I really didn't have much desire to try it, honestly.
Fair, 'cause I
I
didn't either, and I was getting certified, so there's that.
um, but it's a game changer. I
Yeah.
mean, it really is. I'm a believer. I see the changes in myself, and it's lasting change. It's not
Yeah.
it's not like because 'cause I've cold plunged, okay, now, and then I go right back.
Right.
It's what you said, Tina. It gives you the ability to take that 30 seconds, because obviously if you have an anxious thought, you can't just go, "Oh, where's my cold plunge? Let me go
Right.
find it," right? But with the Wim Hof and that, it gives you tools.
Yeah. That's it. It's tools, right? So is there anything like a difference of what you expected, what versus what actually happened? Was there anything that you're like, "Oh, okay," like and maybe not, you may have gone in, nothing like really changed, you just had the experience.
Well, I mean, I definitely think it's gotta be beyond that because we're both still like, we're both still cold plunging.
Yeah. Yeah.
So clearly it made a difference because we're willing to continue to do it on our own. It wasn't a like, I did that, check the box, and now move
Yeah.
on. And I think we both still do cold showers as well.
Yes.
So that kind of cold therapy and the breathing is still like it's meant enough that we've integrated it into like kind of the daily or weekly pattern of our lives. I think it was just the cold showers have been super helpful to me because that cold therapy and what you've taught me about that, I mean, has reset as a woman in like perimenopause and in a stressful like work environment and all those things. Like it has reset me and cleared brain fog and addressed symptoms and helped my hormones in ways that like I just didn't even realize were possible to do without having to go see a doctor about it. And then the cold plunge just like took that one step further for me, which is why I'm like, okay, so building that into some sort of like weekly or 10-day rhythm for me is really helpful. And I don't think I expected that. Like I thought, oh, it'll be helpful. And getting out of your, crazy fight or flight and into, the right side of my nervous system, like that's all helpful and reduces stress, blah, blah, blah. But the depth to which it has actually changed things for me has been so shocking.
That's awesome.
I agree. I mean, I went in with very little expectation, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it because you asked me to do it,
Right.
right? Like, I mean, I believe in you, and I
promised lunch.
I believe in all the things that, I mean, we've been talking about the science and all of that kind of thing, but I didn't realize what an impact it would have on me, and that this would be something I actually crave.
I know.
And the cold showers, I know we both do them at different times and different stages or whatever, but for me, I don't get out of the shower cranky. And I know that sounds so weird, but I could take a hot shower and be in there for 20 minutes and come out like still ready to bite somebody's head off.
Yeah.
And I don't come out of the shower cranky. I come out of the shower like I drank a pot of coffee without the jitters. And it's really, and there's times like I'll be like, I really want a hot shower instead. But I never regret it. I never regret my cold shower.
Okay. Well, we are coming to the end of our time. Thank you. I cannot thank y'all enough. If anybody wants to geek out with me on the science, reach out because I will talk about it all day long. But we are having a Wim Hof workshop next Saturday in Richardson, Texas. So the link is actually in the bio to sign up if you want to join me. We would love to have you. And so I want to close with, what is one word that you would use to describe this experience?
Liberating.
That's not the word I expected you to say.
Yeah.
What did you expect me to say?
I was like, what am I going to say that Kristine is not going to say? I'm not going to say calm, and I'm not going to say. I love that word. I was going to say empowering.
Yeah. Okay. We have to get our rock music. I'm learning all these buttons. All right. Thank you all so much. And I will see everybody else next Saturday in Richardson. Bye, everybody.